the mark. So I really am trying to help kind of close that gap and give them an opportunity to present themselves in the best light to possibly get that media attention that they're trying to garner.
I love that. I love that. That's very exciting because that's not something that a lot of people know about. Mm-hmm. A lot of people want to do it, but they don't really understand the limitations and the joys of having your own creative style and flair that you can add to it. So that's awesome. So this is awesome. So look, I'm limited in my vocabulary as we get closer to the conference. I'm like, my brain is fried.
Yeah, I know. I get the same way when I'm writing articles. I'm like, I'm so eloquent when I speak to my husband and he's like, why are you always using these big words? And I'm like, it's natural. But when I'm writing and I get foggy, like, and I've been up since 2 a.m.
Yes.
Oh gosh. Like it just goes away. But yeah, I get that totally.
That's right where I am right now. Mm-hmm. So tell me, so you and I'm going to just mention this because this was one thing that kind of worried me. So a few weeks back, there was a hurricane and you were covering it. Yes. And then recently I didn't hear from you and I was like, oh my goodness, you were covering another hurricane. Is that right?
So this time, it's so crazy. I went out of town in August and I came back and there was a Hurricane Laura, I think. That one hit like west of us. So I ended up covering that one. Mm-hmm. Then I went to Orlando and came back. And 2 days later, another Hurricane Zeta was hitting New Orleans. And I'm based right in New Orleans. And so we lost power. I think I was supposed to be on your show like last Wednesday. Hurricane was hitting
going out of town.
I know, right? Got to stay in town. So yeah, the hurricane was hitting last Wednesday. I thankfully did not have to cover this one, but we were literally living through the hurricane. Like I have video of the eye of the hurricane. The sky was bright and beautiful. And then like right after it passed, like it's just pitch black, wind, like rain, storm. It was so crazy. And we lost power for about 4 days. So
wow.
I had no internet, no power. So I couldn't get in touch with you. I mean, I could have texted. I think I
just still. Who's thinking about that in the midst of
right? I'm like, oh. But then I like went through emails again after I got things back in order. I couldn't even like connect on my cell phone to the internet. It was crazy. But yeah.
I was more so worried because I know you cover these exciting stories. And while they're exciting for us sitting in the comfort of our home watching them, they could probably be quite scary if you're
there. Yeah. I mean, I was on the porch kind of like taking video because it's just the nature of me like wanting to like be in the action. And this time I wasn't. So my husband like had to drag me off the porch. He's like, go sit your butt down. But yeah, just a couple years ago, I think I've told you about a storm that I covered it was a tornado. And like it was coming through. I was literally like a mile away from where this tornado was passing. And we had to go hide. One passed already. Thought another one were coming, so we had to go hide in someone's house, a complete stranger, after it had just been hit by a tornado already. So you never really know where you're going to be, what environment you're going to be in, who you're going to be talking to. So like you just really have to always be on your toes in this business. And I tell my clients that too, because it's like we call people for interviews just out of the blue, like on the we need it for that day. It's never. There are times where it can be in advance, but most of the time it's like we're on deadline that day. And like, you really just have to be ready in any moment to like go on and be ready to tell your story and, you know, be your best representation of yourself.
I love that. And that really segues me to this. Again, another question that I haven't thrown out to you, but it leads me to the idea of this conference is authenticity and being unfiltered and uncensored. Mm-hmm. And in a field that has so much commercialization, how do you keep authentic to your values and your beliefs and keep that strong in what you're putting out and what you do and how you represent yourself?
Yeah, I know people have strong opinions about the media, so I'm very cognizant and aware of that. So one thing I just always try to make sure that I am presenting a story that is sticking to truth and facts. I don't like to slant anything I say. I mean, of course, we have our own biases, but trying to leave that out of anything I report. So that sticks to the story. But me being a personality and being someone who's on TV, sticking to myself and my own authenticity has been something that I actually struggled with for a while, because I mean, you're in this position of kind of in a position of authority where people are watching you. and you have to maintain this like perception of perfection, and it's unrealistic. But it got to a point where I realized I really have to like identify and be myself in my job. I can't like let my job identify me. So I remember there was one point I like posted a video of myself burping on Instagram. And that's the most authentic you can be, right?
Yes.
So, like, I posted this video, and like so many people were amused by it, and like were friends were like, why don't you act like this and post stuff like this all the time? Because most of the time it was just like work stuff, like stories I'm covering. You couldn't really get to see me. And I learned in that how your authentic story and yourself reaches so many people, and sharing that is how you can really impart knowledge and have an impact in the community. So since then, and even I've like grown out my hair, gone natural. That was a huge wave here in New Orleans, like me being one of the first people in the city to kind of start wearing my natural hair. And so even in that moment of authenticity and like me really honing in on myself, I've seen how that's impacted women and little girls who just, you know, see that image and see themselves in the woman on TV. Just because I saw women, Black women who I emulated when I was growing up, not in natural hair states, but you know, now I'm that woman on TV who has to live up to an image and hold up a certain standard to make sure that I'm, you know, creating something that impacts the next generation.
And hair is something really big. That was actually the next thing that I was going to ask you, because hair is something really big, not only in media, but even I think across cultures and, you know, just that idea of femininity and image. So how do you see your hair? And I know it may seem superficial to some, but I think it means so much to us. How do you see your hair playing a role in you making statements about who you are and what your message is?
For me, when it started for me, it wasn't about messages or creating some type of wave. It was really just kind of getting to this place where I wanted to like really find my true voice and my true self. And so this was an outward expression of what I was going through internally. And, you know, even with relationships and things like that, cutting things off and growing as a woman. So like literally cutting my hair to the shortest state. And that's how I started growing it out natural, because I could no longer curl it with a curling iron myself. So it was really kind of an internal thing for me that started to express itself in an outward expression. And I think even when I like see myself now reporting, and I watch myself when I had the long straight hair or even weaves and stuff like that, like I just even see like I'm more confident in my myself, and I can see the just the boldness and the way I deliver my reports. Like I think I felt like I was still kind of in this box of like trying to fit the mold of what, you know, the expectation was. But now even just seeing myself years later and in the evolution of, you know, of course the experience, but I think the hair kind of makes me feel like I'm just, you know, I'm out here bold with it. Like,
you're you.
They don't tell me nothing either.
I love it. I love it. And you all, so I'm going to put this up now, because if you want to connect with Casey, her website is strolling below, and also her email. But Casey even does some fun video clips of like how she styles her hair and different things like that, which really resonates to who you are, of just being you. Just, hey, this is how I wake up. And I never thought to do a video on my hair, but this is how I do it. Because you're putting that out there and people are seeing it so often, you know, and that's really neat.
Yeah, I was surprised. I did, you know, when the Reels things was introduced on Instagram, I posted that reel about, it was a 10-second reel of me just doing like a tutorial on what I do to my hair, because people constantly ask, where do I go to get it done? You know, who cuts it? How do I style it? And really, I go to the hairdresser maybe twice a year to get a trim. So I do everything myself. But I was so surprised to see how much traction that got. People just loved it. And, you know, it's just me in my bathroom.
I love it. It's just me.
Yeah, because I get surprised too, because people are like, you know, you're the girl from the news, you're the girl from TV. I really am just Casey. I'm just
I love it. Yeah, I always do the quote. I'm like, it's just me, Jenny from the block.
mm-hmm.
But I like that. I like that you say that, because so often we not only have to move beyond the boxes that we have been placed in, but we also place other people in certain categories in our lives and don't realize, hey, they're just human,
Yeah.
That's the piece.
That's true. I mean, even with, interviewing politicians, celebrities, any and everybody. I've been in rooms with all these people. I was in the room with Obama, but never got to interview him. I was also in the room with Trump for two rallies, and, but those
right.
But there was those experiences definitely. It's stuff that I can say I've done, but it's also realizing that we're all human. I mean, some people get worried about doing interviews and things like that, and I always tell them, I'm like, we're just gonna talk. It's not like I'm, some person out to get you or anything like that. It really is just being yourself.
Right. I always feel like I'm that weird girl because I've had the opportunity to be around some people, and I really am just like, hey, what's up?
Well, I will say, when I was on set with Lawrence, I did not speak to him.
Who's that?
Lawrence Fishburne. I was on set with him, and he was literally like 10 feet away, but I didn't want to be that person.
Girl, be that person.
Be the person for me. But, I did get a sneak picture of him eating the show.
Did you camera it so that you could just fit him right now?
Yeah.
I love it. And that's a hard thing, trying not to be that person. But in the same breath, I just feel like there are some people that are just, they know who they are, and that doesn't matter. And then I also feel there's some people who think they're bigger than they are, and that's a whole nother story.
Yeah. And I try not to be that person. I know, because I'm not going to say people approach me all the time to take pictures, but they recognize me at the grocery store. They, they see me out and about. And just the other day, an old man was like, "Hey, Casey." And, people know me and I don't know them. So I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm like, do I know you from somewhere? Because I don't like to not recognize someone. He was like, "No, I just see you on the news." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, it's nice to see you." I was doing a story at the polling stations, and these two, literally, I was standing there with my my photographer, and one gentleman walks up to me, an older gentleman, older Black man, and speaking to me. He's like, he admires my work. He's like, "I don't see you all the time," and wondering what's going on. But then another one literally came up on the right, and he was like, "Me and my wife love watching you and seeing you with your hairstyles."
It's the hair. It's again back to the
hair. So it's so funny. And I was like, "Hey, call her. Let's talk to her." So we called his wife.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really awesome to have that opportunity. So tell me, in addition to that, what are some of your favorite, just name one of your favorite moments, maybe, of just the experience that you've had in your career?
Oh gosh. It's so hard to find the favorites. I always remember the worst ones.
Oh, that'll be a good one. Name
okay, when I first started out in Monroe, Louisiana, which is a small town, I was covering a story about this guy who had been fighting dogs or something like that. So we were near the area where this had happened, and we were shooting my stand-up with me in the field, and a wild hog literally walked up to me and started nibbling on my pants.
First of all, I would have been terrified if it was a wild hog.
Girl, he wasn't aggressive or nothing, but
okay.
Nibbling.
What are you eating?
Yeah. And just even recently, I just laugh. These are the authentic moments that just are, you can't make this stuff up. I was on air, and I'm not on every day now. So I'll go a week, and sometimes when you come back to something, it's you completely forget how to do everything. But yeah, I was on air. It was literally live on air. And I was doing my tag out, reporting live. And I was like, "Wait, where are we?"
That was funny. I laughed for my soul on that one.
That was hilarious. That's not the first time that's happened though. But you know what? And I posted it. And again, people were like, "That's life. But you're still a great reporter. It doesn't matter."
That's right. I love that. Okay, so if someone wanted to know more about what you do, because you don't work with everybody. She has a focus, guys, so don't just go emailing her and stalking her because she's awesome. What services do you offer so that people can know if what they're desiring in their life is something that you offer and can help them with?
Yeah. So, like you said, I don't deal with just like any and everybody. It's got to be people who are really focused on growing their business, and growing it in excellence. I mean, creating your website, creating your social media presence, working on, creating your talking points, crafting and making sure you have the right presentation when trying to get media coverage. People who are, struggling to kind of get their name out there, get their brand out there. I write personal articles for people who are just trying to get like a publication published. Working on one right now. So helping people who are trying to identify their wow factor, their authentic parts of them that make them special. So really just kind of honing in with them and digging deep into their backstory and how to dive in and figure out those points that we can highlight to get the media attention. Because I mean, the media, it's hard sometimes to really break through. And with my experience, I know like what it really takes and what stories are getting covered. So I use that expertise to help. So there's a lady who I've been working with who she suffers from endometriosis, and she also creates health products like smoothies and detox teas and things like that. And she has been trying to like get her name out there and get more awareness. So she started creating a wellness fair. So she was doing a wellness fair centered around COVID and how the disparity in Black communities and how health and wellness can be a way to prevent certain diseases. So I was able to help her craft her story in a way that drew that media in. It wasn't just, hey, here's a wellness fair. It's more about tackling a bigger issue of COVID and racial disparities within certain communities. So yeah, just finding those really honed in key points that are newsworthy and timely.
I love that, because there are a lot of people who offer different things, but you're the first one that I've seen that really look more so in how to broaden your brand and how to get that media attention that a lot of coaches don't have that skill set or that knowledge so that they can enhance other people in that arena. So that's awesome, Casey.
Thank you, Tonya. I mean, yeah, I mean, there are tons of publicists out there. There are tons of media coaches and PR firms, but that's not what I do. I really want to help be the storyteller for the individual.
Oh, I love that. Be the storyteller for the individual.
I'm going to write that down.
Yes, write that down. Go back and watch the replay so you can get the exact
whole thing. Nugget.
That was perfect. So if you all are out there and you're interested in connecting with Casey, and one of the things that she has done that she just talked about is not only taking you from where you are to where you want to be, but her unique skill is she also teaches you how to magnify that and how to get it out there so that other people can see it through media sources. So connect with Casey at CaseyFerrand.com or email her at Casey@CaseyFerrand.com. And it's scrolling below. You don't have to memorize what I just said. So Casey, you are one of our featured speakers for the She Empowerment Conference. Tell me, what are you looking forward to with the She Empowerment Conference? And yeah, go with that one. What are you looking for?
You know what? The fact that there are so many dynamic and magnificent women on the roster, when I was looking at it, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so like humbled to be among them. I think also I'm looking forward to the fact that, you know, I speak in New Orleans all the time. And I've told you this too. It's like people here know me. And I think, you know, they call me because they see the girl on the news. They're like, hey, come talk at our event.
Right.
And I do that. And I love it. But the fact that I'm able to now expand my audience and be a part of your community and be able to, you know, tap into other groups of women that I haven't been able to reach to. So that's what I'm really looking forward to, and seeing the results of this platform.
That's awesome. Oh, excuse me. I don't know, choked up. But that's awesome because that is really what this is about. When we talk about empowerment, it is about us making these connections and these ties. So that's fun. All right, so just a few more things as we kind of bring it to a close, and I will scroll our registration down below. If you haven't registered yet, go ahead and register today for the She Empowerment Conference. It's coming. It is on Friday, so you don't want to miss it. You get to see Casey, but you also get to see a lot of other phenomenal women. Casey, now I know you told me, but tell everybody, what do you have coming up on your calendar? And I am excited about one. I mean, all of them, but I'm excited about
yes. You know, I love
kids.
I wrote a children's book about a little girl who has curly hair, who loves her hair. And then she starts to not like herself because she goes to school and all the girls are making fun of her. Mm-hmm. But then she sees the news lady on TV and she's like, I have hair like the news lady. And then she starts to love her hair again. So that book, The Curly Girl.
Is it called?
Yeah, Curly Girl.
I love it. Okay.
So it's being illustrated right now. So the girl who's illustrating it is also a natural hair 18-year-old who just graduated high school, and she's amazing. Like, her digital art is amazing. So I enlisted her services during COVID to help me bring this project out of hiatus because it's been sitting on my computer, but she's helping me bring it to life. And so that's going to be coming out certainly next year. And then I'm also now enrolling people into my leverage the media academy. So anybody who's interested in working with me right now, you're welcome to reach out, and I'll get you enrolled in the class. And I think that was it. Yeah, that's it for now.
That's awesome. But those are two dynamic things. First of all, the book, guys, I will stay in touch with Casey. I mean, I'm going to stay in touch with her anyhow. But once this book comes out, we will make sure in our groups and everywhere we promote it so that you have access to this book.
Thank you.
It sounds amazing. I'm
excited.
One for my daughter.
Even when she sent me the first drawing of the girl, I was like, oh my gosh, it's perfect.
Yay.
So I'm excited.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. Those are so important, and people just don't realize, but seeing those images and reading books about that are just so important. So that's awesome. And if I put her banner below, if you're interested in joining her program, if you're interested in seeing Casey, register for the She Empowerment Conference, but also go visit her at her website and sign up, because she has some phenomenal things going on, and I'm excited. So I know you will be to work with her. Casey, one thing that I have asked everyone to do is, and I'm gonna give you a preview. So I'm gonna ask you, but you're not gonna say it until after the video that I play. Okay. So using the word she, I want you to say who she is or what she is as people are looking at themselves, looking at others, and looking at what to expect. Okay? So she's thinking about that. I'm going to play our video, so you make sure that you register. All right, and we have a comment from Janice. She said, hello, ladies.
It is.
All right, so who is she?
There's so many adjectives that just came to my head. She is powerful, she is strong, she is confident, and she is empowering other women to be their authentic selves.
I love that. I love that. That in a nutshell is everything that what she is about. And so thank you so much. Casey, do you want to give us our exit out? This is toxic.
Oh, you want me to tag out like on the news?
Yeah, you can do it all official.
Reporting for She TV, I'm Casey Ferrand. Back to you, Tonya.
This has been Talks and Tea with me, Tonya Nicole, and my wonderful guest today, Miss Casey Ferrand. We'll check you later. Peace.